We're talking about movies. Alright, so we just ranked the Marvel Disney Plus shows. How about the Star Wars Disney Plus shows? Now, kind of same thing. Disney Plus came about. Disney said, Star Wars, what you got? Star Wars said, we ain't got much, but we'll try. And look, this list honestly was really hard to put together because I knew where the number one show was. I knew what that was. I'll give it to you now. It's The Mandalorian. Everything else, I had no clue where to rank it because I was like, it's all so much like stuff. Like I was like, I don't know what I would put above what. So this list actually took me a little bit to put together. Kind of disappointed in the Star Wars shows along with the Marvel shows, but here we go. All the Star Wars Disney Plus shows ranked. So number 7, I think I gotta go with the Book of Boba Fett. Look, it's coming out now that this show was kind of forced upon Dave Filoni by Disney, and you can kind of see that. The first few episodes, it was just like all these flashbacks of him with the Tusken Raiders and everything. I feel like since Return of the Jedi, all this fan fiction has been Boba Fett getting out of the Sarlacc pit. Where does it come from? And it just wasn't as cool as I think I thought it could have been, of him like emerging from the Sarlacc pit and what comes of that. I think that the Mos Espa Vespas is one of the worst things that they've put on screen for new Star Wars, where they got these colored scooters driving at 5 miles per hour through Tatooine. And it's just dumb. Now, wedged in the middle of these episodes are 2 of the best Mandalorian episodes ever, which is awesome, where you got Grogu training with Luke. But then that doesn't even really have anything to do with the Book of Boba Fett. That's just like extra Mandalorian episodes. So those are really good. But then you get to the finale, and it's just so silly. You get these giant droidicas going through the streets, and a big Rancor jumping everywhere. I think that it was cool that they brought Cad Bane back from the Clone Wars show, but then he was just kind of wasted. He was kind of there, and then they just kind of killed him. I hope maybe he's not like actually dead, but yeah, this show, it was just really silly. They were afraid to make Boba Fett a morally gray character after he was just really cool in The Mandalorian, like killing people, being his usual self. But in this one, for some reason, they wanted to make him like a good guy, and he just told everybody his name all the time. And yeah, it was just, it lacked a lot of the teeth that I think it should have had. And it was just a little silly, especially with the Mos Espa Vespa. So I gotta put it last. Number 6, I'm gonna go with Obi-Wan, or Obi-Wan Kenobi, or Kenobi. I don't really even know what the actual title of the show is. Look, this one hurts. As a prequel fan, growing up with these movies, I was so excited when they brought Ewan McGregor back, and what they did just stabbed me in the back. Look, the show is not all around awful. There are some really good points in it, and maybe I'll do a video on it, who knows. I think that there's a ton I would have changed in here. There is so much stuff that, in my head, when you think of this show, what it could be, and it's just not. They make it about Kid Leia, and Obi-Wan can't know Kid Leia. That's ridiculous that they would meet and know each other like that. Some of the fights, like, it's cool to see him and Darth Vader fighting, but then some of the conclusions to that raise a lot of questions. The fights are kind of uninspired, where they're just in the middle of a bunch of rocks and it's dark. Like, there's no like scenery like Mustafar. So yeah, I'm gonna make a video on this one of what I would have changed in it, so be on the lookout for that. But this was just a very disappointing show. Like, I'm really glad they had Ewan McGregor back. I'm really glad they had Hayden Christensen back for the little bit of screen time they gave him. But it was just so silly and not what I wanted it to be. So I got it here at 6. Number 5, I got Tales of the Jedi. Now, these are just little shorts. I think I watched it all in like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. It's just like extra Clone Wars episodes. I thought that was pretty cool. They answer a lot of small questions from the prequels, like how Yaddle was in episode 1 and then never in any other episodes. What happened to Yaddle? Who deleted the Camino file from the Jedi archives? Just small stuff like that. And they're just like short, like 15-minute episodes, but they're really cool. You see, they're led by Ahsoka and Dooku when he was a Jedi, when he was Qui-Gon's master. And it's just pretty interesting. Like, I mean, it's a solid thing. It's not as silly as the other 2 shows, so I got it here at 5. All right, number 4, I got The Bad Batch. Now, I think this show is actually really solid, but it's nothing too crazy. It's very, like, middle of the road. I would definitely recommend watching it, like, episodes at a time. So, like, obviously it's already out now. So, like, I wouldn't have liked this as much if I watched it, like, 1 episode a week, because sometimes the episodes are just random stuff, like, that don't have anything to do with it. If you watch them a few at a time, you at least get some story in there. And I think that instead of maybe having 16 episodes, maybe cut it to 10 and keep them more story-based, because they are very Clone Wars adjacent, but then they lack a lot of the like fun with like the Jedi and stuff. So I mean, it's a good show, but I was never like blown away by it. And like, but it is a solid watch. So I mean, it's fine. I got it at 4. Number 3, I got Andor. Now, I'm not going to act like this isn't a good show. I know a lot of people love it, but it is very slow and very boring, especially at the beginning of it. Now, once it got about halfway and he got to the prison, it picked up a lot, and I was very intrigued from there on out. But especially at the beginning, I was very just like, eh. Like, if it tells you anything, like, Mandalorian I watch every week when it comes out. This, I started watching every week when it came out, and then I stopped after like 3 or 4 weeks, and then I watched it all after it all came out. And I think that, like, I don't know, it's just not as fun. I think Star Wars is supposed to be fun. And, like, you can have a good show, and it's gritty, and it's about the war, and I get it's different, but I think Star Wars is supposed to be more fun than this is. So it's hard for me to rank it any higher just because, I mean, it's good, but it's not that fun. What I will give it, which I think is its biggest pro, is they shot on location. They went to, I forget where, but you see these beautiful countrysides, and they actually shot it on location, as opposed to this stupid volume that they keep using, where everything looks like it's on a green screen. When they first started using it, it was cool, but now it's just overused and like way too much. So I wish Star Wars would go back to shooting on location, which Andor does do. I'll give it props for that. I hope season 2 is also good, bringing K2SO in. Maybe that'll make it a little more fun. But I mean, like I said, thought it was good, kind of slow, not that fun. Number 3 on my list. Number 2, I got Clone Wars Season 7, and only Season 7. Disney cannot claim the whole show just because they own Star Wars now. They did not make it. And when I talk about this season, I'm really talking about the last 4 episodes. I think that when you watch it, you can tell all their effort went into these last 4 episodes. Because one, the animation and the styling that they made it in looks like a movie. It looks so much different. The 2-second shot of Grievous they have in like the intro to it looks better than the whole rest of the show. The first 4 episodes introduced the Bad Batch. They're fine. The second set of 4 are garbage, and they're not good. And then the last 4 are incredible. I think that when they wanted to make this Season 7 closeout, that they intentionally really only wanted to make the last 4 episodes, and Disney was probably like, you gotta make like a whole season. We can't just make 4 episodes. So I thought it was awesome the way they tied in Maul and Ahsoka and Mandalore, and you got the Order 66 scene in there, which is incredible. This is vintage Star Wars. Dave Filoni's the man. This is good stuff. This is some of the best stuff that they've made. Also, just those last 4 episodes of Season 7, perfect. Number 2 on my list. So number 1, as I said at the beginning of the video, is The Mandalorian, and I don't think that's much of a surprise. I think anyone would say The Mandalorian's the best thing they've made. And this is really the closest thing I think we've gotten to George Lucas Star Wars since George left. And I think that Favreau and Filoni they get it. They understand what's going on. They do a great job writing and directing these. And like I said in my Mandalorian review, the 3rd season is the weakest. I would say it probably goes 2 is the best, then 1, then 3. But they still get the universe well and the story they're telling. The introduction of Baby Yoda in season 1 was just a stroke of genius, that they were able to bring in like the biggest moneymaker ever. Season 2 in particular, where you bring back Boba Fett, the ending of season 2 with Luke Skywalker is probably, it might be the best Star Wars thing that Disney's done since they've had it. And I give 0 of that credit to Lucasfilm or Kathleen Kennedy. I give it all to Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. I think that this show is just great. The Western feel of it. It ties in a lot of extended lore things. They're just about to bring Thrawn back in. And I just think that they know what they're doing. It's a solid Western. It is a little adventure of the week sometimes, where it's like they don't have much to do, so they're just like, go get this thing, and it's like, oh no, Baby Yoda, drink all the milk. But the episodes where it sticks to the story are so good. Moff Gideon is a great villain. You tie back into Darksaber and the history of Mandalore in there, and I think this is just something that Star Wars fans have been waiting for 40 years. So that is my ranking of the Disney Plus Star Wars shows. What do you think? What do I have too high? What do I have too low? Were you hurt by Obi-Wan like I was? Because it was brutal. I couldn't answer the phone for a few weeks. Let me know what you guys thought about it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. I would appreciate it if you like and subscribe to the channel to help us grow, and I'll be back with more reviews soon. Have a great week.